Sam, it's time. The Chiefs, we play the Super Bowl champs in the playoffs at Arrowhead. Before we jump into what the Browns are looking at going into Sunday, let's do some history lesson, okay? Browns Chiefs, not necessarily rivalry in any way. However, if you want to get ready, hyped for this game to have a different feeling to it, I encourage everyone to watch, go back, look at these games, these highlights that'll give a different meaning to Browns Chiefs, okay? And Sam, I want you to pick most interesting when I get to the bottom of this, and I'll relist them. Okay, most interesting, most intriguing, most fun, whatever you want to call it. Just one that sticks out. So we'll start with number 1, Dwayne Rudd, Chiefs Browns. Okay, if you don't know this story, essentially close-knit game for the Browns in the mid-2000s. This is a year or two after they made the playoffs. Dwayne Rudd, defensive end. Browns win the game on a missed field goal from the Chiefs. In celebration, Rudd throws his helmet to the ground. It rolls 10 yards. That's a penalty flag, which, it was stupid, but I don't know. I don't know what you want to say about it. Re-kick. That's same old Browns. That's old Browns, I guess. Up and through, Browns lose. That's tough. You watch the highlight, Rudd devastated. I don't think he continued with the Browns after. Very, very discouraging. Next would be actually the same game but different highlights, okay? Josh Cribbs, 2 touchdown returns.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous. Rewatch them. They're ridiculous. Right. It makes it look like other people don't know how to tackle.
Right.
And
Cribbs is so different in the fact that while he's a fast guy, a lot of the returns we see today are just finding that one crease and just taking off through it. And Cribbs, especially in that game against the Chiefs, if you would have tracked him, he probably ran a good 170, 200 yards on his returns because he's going across the field. He's breaking tackles, like you said. That was a fun game for him.
I can see one already sticking out for you there. Let's keep going, Samo. Same game. Jerome Harrison goes off.
Mm-hmm.
He goes bonkers versus the Chiefs, and I mean it's almost unbelievable what he rushed for. He had 30 some carries for 286 yards and 3 touchdowns. Incredible game by Jerome Harrison against those guys. I mean, it really is unbelievable, right?
I mean,
it's like a blurb in a losing stint. 34 carries, 286, 3 touchdowns. It's like a little pop-up, in all those losing seasons, but such a weird game from Jerome Harrison.
Jerome Harrison putting up Derrick Henry numbers in Kansas City is something that we don't see that type of stuff in today's NFL. You don't see guys like Jerome Harrison. Obviously, you don't see Jerome Harrison at all, but you don't see guys like that just putting up 280-yard games. It's ridiculous. It was crazy.
Yeah. Okay, let's move forward a little bit. That Josh Gordon stretch, that right. KC game was right in the middle. And and if I say that Josh Gordon stretch, And I was at the second game where he broke the record, Jerry Rice's record for most yards in consecutive games or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I was at that second game. Gordon, 5 catches, 132 yards and a touchdown in Arrowhead. Browns lost by a touchdown. That's when we thought Jason Campbell was having a comeback, but peak Josh Gordon, again, in Arrowhead, another in Arrowhead game. That Dwayne Rudd was in Cleveland, the helmet throw, but it's starting to stack up a little bit here, Sam, the history, these weird, things back and forth, and you hear Chiefs and these things click all of a sudden.
Yeah. I think the first ones that come to mind, I didn't know that Gordon played the Chiefs in that crazy run that he had. But the Cribbs returns, the Harrison runs, those are the things that you definitely think of. Am I right in saying that the Browns lost all of those games?
They won the Harrison one.
That's right.
Touchdown.
Was the Harrison one?
They finished 3-11 at that point.
Okay. I thought they won a couple of games towards the end of that season with the Harrison run and actually got a little hot. And by hot, I mean 4 win season for the Browns back then.
The Gordon one was where they were really pushing for a second. Remember they beat the Ravens at home? They were winning a lot, but they didn't finish off. Sorry, go ahead.
No, all good, man. I think it speaks to sort of um, what we've been through as Browns fans, that instead of clinging to big victories like we'll cling to now, we sort of look back to these great individual performances. But I definitely think the one that sticks out above all of those would be Josh Cribbs. I think just the way that kick returns um, are done today, you don't really see two touchdowns from a special teams or at all anymore. But that day, Josh Cribbs, um, that day will stick for a long time, man.
Hold on, I got one more.
Let's
You
hear
made
it.
you made your pick, but and I definitely agree. But one more weird one. So there's not a lot of film for Johnny Manziel on the Browns,
Okay.
but Browns Chiefs in Arrowhead once again. Let's do it. Sam, Browns lost 17-13, not a great one. Johnny was 13 of 32, 136, and a pick. Not that Alex Smith was that good anyway. That's when we had that decent defense going. Gary Barnidge, 3 catches, 47 yards. This is where it's a Manziel game. 11 carries, 108 yards for Johnny Manziel. And if you remember, they ran out of time. They probably needed like another 15 yards for a field goal, and they ran out of time. And he tried to spike it, and they ran out of time.
That does ring a bell. Yeah, Manziel had a couple of fun ones down the stretch. I remember a home opener game against the Titans that Manziel won. There was a certain moment, spun out of a sack, deep ball to Travis Benjamin for a touchdown. That's neither here nor there. It's not about the Chiefs, but yeah, it's funny how little I remember about the Johnny Manziel run. And it's funny how little I remember about Browns-Chiefs matchups. I think if you would have asked me beforehand to name some Browns-Chiefs games, the only ones I would have remembered were Cribbs and Harrison. So
It's the same game.
I'm excited to have another one up coming up this Sunday.
I should mention the Browns did play the Chiefs 2 years ago. Just nothing notable there, to be honest. The Browns were different. Obviously, they were Greg Williams coached at that point. Pat Mahomes was real hot. I mean, he's been hot, but like he was real hot. That was that first year. And, we still had Duke Johnson, like little things like that, I think were up in the air. So kind of a weird matchup, but you want to get ready for the game, go in chronological order, watch all that stuff, even include if you want to the last matchup. But